I read on some blog that if you clap at the beginning of these things, it's easier to line up all the audio and stuff. So I'm gonna try that. Something new. My name is Alchemix. Welcome to the Alchemix channel. We like to do all sorts of stuff here, but mainly we focus on DJing and equipment and software, whatever. Today we're gonna be doing a review on a XDJ RX2. It's a piece that I definitely wanted, but didn't think I could justify. I already own a ton of standalone options, including NXS2s and a DJM 900. So, I wanted one, but sometimes when you see that killer deal on Craigslist, offer up, whatever, you're just like, I got to get that. So I ended up with this XDJ RX2, and I got to say, like, it's very much like a very good balance between like an NX2 and a SX2, two of my favorite pieces of DJ equipment of all time. So there's a lot that I can appreciate, a lot that's going on here that I've wanted for a long time. I bought a Denon MCX 8000 because I was trying to get this standalone going a long time ago, and it definitely didn't work out for me. So I'm super happy to play with something that feels much more solid and full featured than what I was experiencing with the Denon. I had high hopes, but it didn't even really function as a basic MIDI controller for me, and the standalone feature was so bare. It was unfortunate. So this right here is an awesome blend of some ridiculously expensive technology, some affordable, but you need a laptop technology, and it really fills an awesome void that I think was out there for a while. The RX1 looked awesome. I wanted it, but just like the SX was popular, but not nearly as popular as the SX2. Like, I knew this RX2 when it dropped was going to be hot, and it's a good balance. Like, we all wanted 4 channels, we all wanted DVS. Like, let's not lie, but it's not going to happen until another company makes something similar and forces them to do it. Like, because they're not going to shoot themselves in their really expensive Nexus lineup foot here in order to give you what you want. They'll talk about market segments and stuff. Pioneer, they're ridiculous. All right, so let's talk about this bad boy here. We got 2 USB ports, makes it awesome to trade off. A lot of controllers now have 2 like MIDI plugs, so you can trade off laptop to laptop. This is even easier here, just USB to USB. It's real fast to read. It keeps all your record box analyzed stuff. It, really, like, the waveforms, everything. I'll be straight up. This screen seems to be more frames per second, a little bit crisper and sharper and more responsive than the screen on the NXS2, a $2,000 unit here. So that definitely was impressive. It's got pretty much everything you need, not a whole lot of stuff you don't. Like, that's what I liked about it. That's what I liked about the SX2. I always said the SX2 is going to become like the Technics 1200 of the controller world, because it's just everything you need, nothing you don't. And they did a really good job of giving you that here. 2 microphone channels, really awesome for the kind of people that are going to be using this. They'll definitely appreciate that. You do have an auxiliary channel here. So I'll always, at my live shows, I'm sure going to have my iPad with DJ Pro so I can stream. That's an awesome addition to any setup. And then other than that, it's just an awesome way, like people say, and you'd expect, to familiarize yourself with club unit kind of standard gear. Like, if anything, it really forces you to learn onboard effects, like, really quickly and well. It's just uh, exactly enough, not too much. If anything, there's one color effect here I might have swapped out. They gave us sweep, which is just kind of like a narrow band shelf. You can go up and down, and there's a cool, you know, sound you can find with a few like distinct sounds with it, but it's not as useful. I think crush or space would have been a little better, which you have here on the 900, but you don't usually use all of those. There's 1 or 2 you're going to pick as your favorites. But yeah, you have noise. It's the only one that's like a standalone noise generator. Everything else is basically going to affect a track that you're playing. But noise is fun and useful in a whole lot of different ways. Your standard filter, it's nice that it has the parameter, the kind of dry wet effect. You can really get to like fine tuning like the kind of resonance you want behind your filters and the kind of you know balance between the main track and the filter track with this knob. Once you start playing with it, it's a real useful tool. So dub echo, everybody knows that's just super handy. Like, that's a post fader effect, so you can close it and it keeps going. It's a fun one. And like I said, space, it's not the most useful. But just kind of gives you a narrow shelf out of any range, low, mid, high. The onboard effects, the beat effects over here, really useful. Good ones packed in. Your standard echo, delay, you set the parameter, so how many beats you want it to apply it to. You got to tap in your BPM, but it's actually got a really accurate auto detector on there. And then you can just apply it. You can apply it to channel 1, 2, master. You can apply it to the mic channel, which is pretty cool. For crossfader side, also pretty cool. So yeah, for a 2-channel watered down version, it really is quite everything you need, nothing you don't hear. Like, I don't think that there's much I would have wanted added or taken away from what they already gave us here. I really liked on the SX2 that the crossfader curve was adjustable with a knob, so you could really fine tune it. Almost everything is going, even the 900 is a switch like this, either just kind of through normal or the sharp scratch DJ setting, which it works pretty good, but I really liked having that fine-tuned knob on the SX2 on the front. The big complaint I have personally, and I mentioned this in my review about the Denon MCX 8000, I can't believe that Pioneer did this to us. These jog wheels feel exactly like the MCX 8000. There's no tension on them. You can do a much more epic backspin because they're so loose. But for people who like to juggle anything like that, it makes it harder because you kind of have to pitch and catch it instead of the SX2 was awesome. Let me show you. On the SX2, you got a lot more tension on that jog wheel. It doesn't go very far. But there were kind of like speed sensors in there, and that digital LED track would keep spinning, and it was pretty accurate, much like spinning a vinyl back on a turntable. It was really nice. And then when you went to catch it, it was already not moving. Like, this platter reads any movement, it's moving that track. It's attached to it. So it's hard. You pretty much have to pitch and catch. It's a little more work. I'll show you. where it kept going and sliding, it wouldn't have been as bad on the SX2 where the platter wouldn't have kept spinning as far. And of course, on the NXS2s, you have tension adjust. So you can still do your epic backspins, but then you can make it real tight. So if you're juggling, it's going to stay right where you drop it at, and it's a little easier to keep your beat lined up. So that's the one big gripe and fail I feel with Pioneer here. Why did they change these jog wheels from something that was already just solid and everybody loved? Nobody was saying the SX2 jog wheels needed to change at all. Like that's just unfortunate. There should have been some sort of tension adjust. I understand they're trying to push the DDJ 100 and get record box out to more people. I don't know. That was just such a. I know they must have seen multiple reviews of the Denon MCX 8000. That was another one of the number one complaints I saw other DJs also saying about the MCX 8000 was those jog wheels were just too loose. But hey, it's still overall the most stable standalone solution by a long shot, and I gotta give it that. It's wonderful even over the NXS2s here, because when you go into rolls on the NXS2s, it's a touch screen like button setup, and it's just definitely not as tactile or accurate feeling as having the MPC pads right here on deck. Like that is really, really awesome. So it's got the brake adjust on it is really cool. It doesn't have the start speed adjust like you have on the CDJ 2000, but that's a much less used feature. I use it sometimes, but definitely not as popular as the brake adjust. The hot cues, they're all colored, which is awesome. Um, the beat loop feature is handy. The slip loop is super cool for build-ups and drops and stuff like that. The beat jump feels kind of redundant because your search right here does pretty much the same thing. I guess it's nice to be able to stay right on the one and drop it, whatever. Um, the one other, I guess, kind of gripe I have, let's see if we can make it do this right now. If I put it on a wider pitch bend and I start a clip, a sample, anything, and the master tempo is on, it feels like the one area gets a little bogged down and overwhelmed. It seems like the algorithm for keeping that tempo, that master pitch lock on, can get overwhelmed, and sometimes it'll give it a different pitch when it shouldn't. Let me see if it'll do it for me right now. It did it once in there. I don't know if you caught it, but and it can be worse with a wider pitch bend. But yeah, like every once in a while, it doesn't quite lock into the right tempo, and it'll correct it after a second or two, but it's noticeable. So that's the only area I've noticed it actually seeming like the processor gets a little laggy. Everything else seems like rock solid. It's like having software really like at your fingertips without having to worry about laptops and the separate battery, the extra wires, and just the potential for crashing, which that's where I've always had problems with was software and laptops. So that's why I've been obsessed with standalone equipment for the last couple of years. Overall, it's not that heavy. It's definitely heavier than the SX2. The sound quality is definitely not 900 level. However, I'll say it's about pro level controller quality, which is still very adequate for most jobs. The the meters here, they're definitely more accurate. You can see it's really small, the master band on the SX2. They're a little bit more accurate than the SX2, however, again, not even close to like the 900 and the incredible just articulation you get out of each gain and the EQ bands on a real nice pro level controller, like, or not controller, a mixer like the DJM 900. So yeah, this thing rocks. Sound quality, again, like I said, really good. It's loud, fun to play with. It makes it so easy to just walk up, plug in your USB, and get to practicing, get to finding new mixes, get to screwing around, whatever you want to do. So, not perfect. Main flaw of those jog wheels. It's a learning curve if you're used to something a little bit more like an SX2. And every once in a while, it can't quite maintain that pitch lock.
Ready to make an entrance. Ready to make an entrance. Ready to make an entrance.
So yeah, that's going to be my review here on the RX2. If you can find one for cheap, or if you need a real awesome, dependable standalone option, this is awesome. I can't give up 4 channels for like my personal booth work and stuff like that. My at-home studio, I like to have the creativity of extra channels. With the aux channel, you can get creative with it. You can line in line or phono on either one of these channels, but you're going to have to flop back and forth. It's really just 2, 3 outputs max, depending on how you work it. So we're all hoping someday we get that dream machine, 4 channel, standalone, DVS capable, all in one. And it's probably on the horizon, closer than ever before. But for right now, this thing is just awesome. Like, literally, for guys like me who are just hyper paranoid about laptops and software because of previous life experience, this thing is going to be my go-to, because I got a coffin for my DJM CDJs, but lugging that thing around is a mofo. So if you get a chance to swipe one of these, if you're an old school turntable guy, this is an awesome way to hop into a blend of controllerism and DJ booth, like modern stuff. If you're uh, a purely USB CDJ guy and you want to get more of a taste for controllerism without having to go all the way into that, this is an awesome option. There's just really the best of both worlds kind of wrapped up in this one machine right here. I can't really recommend it enough. If they manage to make an MK2 version with some correct jog wheels on it, I'm going to be overjoyed. So love you guys. Take it easy. Hope you found this useful.